We need to eat the baby.
I have no respect for women for children, okay? I think so poorly of them, and the reason why...
Hey, welcome to US News. So, Disney to spell check scripts for gender bias using AI technology. Great. It's not like we don't have enough propaganda in our movies. The Walt Disney Company will use a new artificial intelligence application to spell check scripts for gender bias in a new partnership with actress Gina Davis. The collaboration, which was first reported by The Hollywood Reporter, will involve a new AI tool called GDIQ Spellcheck for Bias, which was developed at the University of Southern California, Viterbi School of Engineering. GDIQ is intended to analyze the test of a script to determine the balance of male and female characters and whether the mix is representative of reality, according to the trade publication. Dude, your movies are never representative of reality when you try to push your leftist views. The tool also can discern the numbers of characters based on ethnicity, sexual orientation, and other groups. So basically, it's going to discriminate on all three of those. Davis made the announcement at the recent Gender Inclusion Summit in Auckland, New Zealand. I'm very proud to announce that we have a brand new partnership with Walt Disney Studios using Spellcheck for Bias, Davis reportedly said on stage. They are our pilot partners, and we're going to collaborate with Disney over the next year, using the tool to help their decision-making, identifying opportunities to increase diversity and inclusion in the manuscripts that they receive. We're very excited about the possibilities with this new technology, and we encourage everybody to get in touch with us and give it a try. Oh, that's stupid. Guarantee you they're going to eat their own. You're going to get Hollywood that they're going to start discriminating against, and this is going to be fun. The Thelma and Louise star runs the Green Davis Institute on Gender in the Media, a group she founded in 2014 to advocate for gender representation in Hollywood. There's one category of gross gender inequality where the underrepresented of women can be fixed absolutely overnight, and it's on screen, Davis said at the New Zealand event. The very next project somebody makes, the next movie, TV show, can be gender balanced. Oh my gosh. We can make this change happen very fast. In the time it takes to create a new show or a new film, we can present a whole new vision of the future. Davis reportedly said that the goal of the new application is not to shame and blame, but instead to reveal unconscious bias. Whatever, it is just shame and blame. Screw you, man. You see, they make it like word it all. This is what they do. They word it all good and sugarcoat, that we're gender balanced, we're trying to be inclusive, we're diverse, but it's the complete opposite. This is going to be fun to watch. I don't know. I find these social stuff very fun and very funny and hilarious.
It's real. Your team and your school are buzzing. And then you make it to the field where you see a high school boy across the field from you. Not as a coach, not as an assistant, but as a player. It's confusing. Your entire team's focus and motivation is lost, and you're defeated before you even start. Our team got off the bus with a spirit of yes we can, but that spirit was quickly replaced with why try. Sure enough, our opposing team won. The boy hit, as we call it.
Hey, how's it going? Female athlete on competing with men on soccer field. Why try? Yeah, no kidding. I'm sorry, there's a difference between men and women. A female high school athlete said on Tuesday that having to compete with men on the field crushes the dreams of women athletes. Grace, a soccer and softball player, spoke out in front of the Supreme Court on Tuesday as the justice heard arguments about whether federal anti-discrimination laws should apply to sexual orientation and gender identity. Oh my. Grace, a high school junior, said sports have always been a critical part of my life. With her parents' support, she grew to become an athletic athlete. She spoke as activists yelled, "Go home, homophobe." Of course, that's all they know. They only know how to scream all the phobes and ist. I believe that when they told me I worked hard enough, I could do anything. She said to the crowds that being a girl isn't a limitation, that if she believes she can, she will. Soccer, Grace said, taught me discipline, the rewards that come with hard work, ethic, and the most importantly, it taught me what leadership looks like. But Grace added that after spending hours of training and practice and giving up social activities in order to compete with other top-level athletes, you make it to the field and you see a high school boy across from you, not a coach, not as an assistant, but as a player. It's confusing, she asserted. Your entire team's focus and motivation is lost and defeated before you even start the event. Grace said their team's spirit of yes we can was quickly replaced by why try. She explained that when the boys' hitting ability giving the opposing team an edge of a couple of runs, her team of female athletes could not recover and ended up losing. Grace observed how allowing biological men to play women's sports is defeating the goal of an equal playing field federation law that's supposed to protect. Exactly. This is what happens when you take a good thing like equality too far. She said many female athletes who have to compete against males will lose out on sports scholarships to colleges. Like I said, left eating their own. A recent study in Sweden has shown that biological males who claim to be transgender women still retain considerable advantages over biological females in strength and muscle mass, even after a full year of hormone therapy. Oh man. I'm surprised they're even stating that there's advantages of males over females. That's a no-no. Despite the robust increase in muscle mass and strength in transgender men, the transgender women were still stronger and had more muscle mass following 12 months of treatment, the researchers said. These findings add new knowledge that could be relevant when evaluating trans women's eligibility to compete in women's category of athletic competitions. Another study, researchers concluded that male athletes who claim to be female hold an intolerable advantage over biological female athletes. 3 professors, 2 in bioethics and 1 in physiology, noted the International Olympic Committee is allowing transgender women to compete against biological females if their testosterone is below 10 moles per liter. Nmoles. Oh, I don't know what nmol is. I know what mole is. However, even that level is significantly higher than the biological females, they asserted. The researchers also stated that indirect effects of testosterone will not be altered by hormone therapy. For example, hormone therapy will not alter bone structure, lung volume, or heart size of a trans woman athlete, especially if the transition post-puberty show natural advantages including joint articulation, stroke volume, and maximal oxygen uptake will be maintained, they explained. We conclude that the advantage of trans women afforded by the IOC guidelines is an intolerable unfairness, states the professor. I agree. And you know what? Everybody saw this coming down the pipe. All right. I'll see you guys in the next episode.
This is shocking and appalling, and I honestly don't even know what to say about it.
NBC Today show
back.
hosts
So, warning, trigger warning, I guess. I don't know. Graphic. Rape accusations against Laurer ensnare NBC management. Now, we've known about these accusations for, at least I have, a while, but 2 years after Matt Laurer was abruptly fired by NBC News for sexual misconduct, more questions are emerging about the former Today Show host behavior and whether bosses look the other way at problems involving one of the network's biggest stars. You know, the ones that virtue signal are the ones that are acting immoral. So, graphic warning, details contained in this story may disturb or offend some readers. Hey, it's my kind of story. A new book by Ronan Farrow, a former NBC News employee who now works at The New Yorker, names the accuser whose story that Laurer raped her in a Saukey hotel room led to his dismissal. Laurer denied the charges in an angry and defiant letter released by his lawyer Wednesday and said that his public silence since his firing has been a mistake. Farrow's book said that Brooke Nevels, this is the woman that's accusing him of rape, a former NBC News employee who worked with Meredith Vieira at the Sochi Olympics in 2014. Met her boss for drinks one night and Lauer joined them. Nevels said she had 6 shots of vodka and wound up going to Lauer's room. She said that Lauer pushed her onto the bed and asked if she liked anal sex. Nevels said she declined several times, but then Lauer just did it. She described the encounter as excruciating painful. It was non-consensual in the sense that I was too drunk to consent, Nevels told Farrell. It was non-consensual in that I said multiple times that I didn't want to have anal sex. In his letter, Lauer admits to having extramarital affairs with Nevels. He said on the night that Sochi, I hope I'm saying that right, that they consensually performed a variety of sexual acts. She was a fully enthusiastic and willing partner, he wrote. At no time did she behave in a way that made it appear that she was incapable of consent. She deemed to know exactly what she wanted to do. He claimed they had an affair that lasted after they returned to the United States. Nevels described the sex as transactional and that she feared the effect Lauer could have on her career. In one case, she told Farrell that she had asked Lauer for help recording a goodbye video for a friend leaving NBC. He told her he'd do it in his office and then demanded oral sex, Farrell wrote in the book Catch and Kill. Neville said she felt she had to do something to protect other women at NBC News, leading to her filing the complaint against Lauer in November 2017. Matt Lauer's conduct was appalling, horrific, and reprehensible, as we said at the time, NBC News said in a statement Wednesday. That's why he was fired within 24 hours of us first learning of the complaint. Our hearts breaks again for our colleague. NBC said that Lauer had been fired for inappropriate sexual conduct. The specific rape allegation did not become public until Verity reported Wednesday that Neville spoke to Farrow. Nevels grew disenchanted with NBC, feeling bosses that weren't doing enough to protect her anonymity internally and mischaracterizing the relationship with Lauer as an affair. After some rough times, she said she was hospitalized for post-traumatic stress and alcohol abuse. She left NBC with a 7-figure settlement. NBC chairman Andrew Lack, in a memo sent to a network staff on Wednesday, the network hadn't known of Lauer's behavior with Nevels until the day before he was fired. An internal investigation uncovered no claims or settlements associated with allegations of inappropriate conduct by Lauer before he was fired, Lack said. But Farrow indicated that Lauer's behavior was an open secret at NBC. He quoted Lauer's former co-anchor Ann Curry, who left today on bad terms with Lauer, saying she told NBC executives that Lauer had a problem with women and that they had to keep an eye on him. Wow. Farrow said he learned of 7 claims of sexual misconduct raised by women who worked with Lauer. Several said they had told colleagues and believed the network knew about the problem, he wrote. He quoted a former production assistant, adding Collins, who told him Lauer aggressively pursued her in 2000 and ordered her to perform sexual favors. She consented, but it made her feel sick, afraid of her job, afraid of retaliation, Farrow wrote. Lauer said that he had never assaulted anyone or forced anyone to have sex. This dude had rumored to have a button in his office that would lock the door. I don't know if that's true or not, but in his letter, he said he ended his relationship with Nevels poorly, but being upset of having second thoughts did not give anyone the right to make false accusations years later. Her lawyer did not return a message for comment Wednesday on Lauer's letter. Lauer acknowledged other extramarital encounters and criticized the women involved for having abandoned shared responsibility for the affairs to shield themselves from blame behind false allegations. They have avoided having to look at a boyfriend, a husband, a child in the eye and say, "I cheated," Lauer said, "and I will no longer provide them the shelter of my silence." Man, you can tell he's guilty. That statement is chilling and could be read as a threat by women who feel they are victims of Lauer's misconduct, said Linda Vester, a former NBC News employee, who formed Silent Breakers Alliance, which tries to direct foundation spending for programs that combat sex abuse. Lauer's letter was called unbelievable by Eleanor McManus, who co-founded the group, pressed forward to support victims of sexual misconduct in the new industry. McManus said she was harassed by journalist Mark Halperin, who lost jobs at NBC News and elsewhere because misconduct allegations. Lauer's statement demonstrates not only his lack of remorse, but his lack of understanding of sexual harassment and the hashtag #MeToo movement, McManus said. Nowhere in the letter does Lauer acknowledge the power he yielded as a celebrity and a star of NBC's highest-rated show. The two people in the hotel room in Saki did not have equal power. Neville's story was reported Wednesday on the show Lauer hosted for 2 decades. His former co-host, Savannah Guthrie, called it shocking and appalled. We are disturbed to our core. I mean, yeah, it didn't state it in here, but, I mean, she described that when they were in the hotel room, he threw her on the bed, and then he threw her over, and then he just penetrated her, and then she just wept in the pillow. So, until evidence comes out, you know, we don't know. So I hope this goes to trial. Hopefully something happens and that we can clear it all up. I just hope whoever's at fault pays. All right.